What's up, YouTube? This is MetallicTCG, and today we're going to be going over the Forbidden Limited list for Duel Links according to July 15, 2022. So here's the thing, I have not looked at this at all. I just was made aware that it has been made public, and I'm also not doing a face cam right now because I just came back from the gym, and I have the perfect opportunity for me to record this. So we're going to do that. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does so much thanks for the channel, help get our content expanded out to others who may not be aware, and drop a like button if you like to as well. Also, comment what your favorite changes for the list are, because I'm really curious to hear what the Duel Links community is thinking about these days. All right, let's jump into it. Forbidden Limited list and skill balance, and also in memory of Mr. Kazuki Takahashi. Rest in peace, the wonderful man. You made so many childhoods. Not gonna be the same with that. Attention duelists, the implementation of the Forbidden Limited list and rebalancing of skills are planned to occur on the list below. Please see below the changes that are going to be made and our reasoning behind these changes. Changes made skill effects will be applied to both PvP and NPC rules when updating to version 6.9.0, which will become available for some time between July 18th and July 21st. Honestly, not too far away from now. 3 days from what I'm looking at the earliest. All right, so we'll check out the skill balancing in a second, but for now, let's look into the Forbidden Limited list. The details. Here are the details of Forbidden Limited list that will be implemented and what cards will be added to the list. Limited, only 3 copies of Limited list can be included in your deck. DD Swirl Slime and DD Contract with the Gate. Honestly, this is not a huge surprise to me because you see DDD so rampant, but it's such a good deck. Like, it's a deck with a lot of combos and it has a very high ceiling, and it takes quite a bit of skill to be able to play it effectively, but it could just do a little bit of everything and anything, and that's one of the things I love about the deck. This card will be reduced to high consistency of DDD decks, as well as the power to summon many monsters in one turn. Yeah, that's kind of their shtick. That's their thing. Dark Contract with the Gate. This card will be reduced to okay, basically the exact same range, which makes sense. Considering that, you can make a lot of easy plays, and especially with the banish effect that these guys do have, the swirl, stuff like that. It's not too bad because you can just make this for a fusion material and then you can banish it, especially some of the DD slime monster from your hand, or DD monster. It's kind of insane how much this deck can pop off. Same thing with Dark Contract with the Gate, but you can kind of search out any monster for this thing too. And getting your DD contract or your Dark Contracts are not hard to begin with anyway, so this kind of makes sense. I'm not super thrilled about it because I do have the deck too, but it is what it is. Next. Oh god, no! My boy, Seer Malebranche of the Burning Abyss. Oh, this is my favorite deck. Oh, why, baby? This card will be reduced to the high consistency and endurance of Burning Abyss decks. No sh. That's what this deck does. It just has so much consistency and just it can just keep thriving. Oh, that hurts. I'll definitely have to look into my list and doing an update for everybody here, but this sucks. We still don't even have Graph or Calcab. Maybe we might get them in a later step, but I don't know. For now, Seer at 3, part of the 3 limited slot. It's not the worst thing, but I will have to make some adjustments for my deck for sure. But just basically being a monster born for Burning Abyss, it's just so good because it allows you to recur your Dante, it allows you to recur your Virgil, your other level 3 Dark Fiend monsters as well. And I mean, I suppose you can also use the Dante loop to kind of contribute to getting your Seer more often. So it's not the end of the world. I'm not happy about it, but it's totally fine. I guess justified as well. No longer on the list. Blackwing Orochi the Squall. This card will be unlimited as its power level is acceptable in the current metagame. Yeah, no duh, because if you take cards out of rotation from the meta, of course there's eventually gonna be power creep. Right? Things that were super relevant and good 2 years ago are just going to be outphased so much longer. And then eventually when Konami realizes the cards are no longer be a problem, nor can they make as much, money, especially in the paper card game, it makes more sense to kind of bring them back, honestly. So Blackwing Orochi the Squall, that's fine. Is that it? Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. As mentioned, the Forbidden Limited list details and lineup. The Forbidden Limited list is not permanent, and this is subject to change based on the metagame. Once Konami figures out when to do that every 6 months. The effects of the cards may be changed at this time. In addition, there may be special rules in the future that may not be able to abide by the Forbidden Limited list, so be cautious when converting cards. That will be all for now. Interesting. I mean, that is Overall, I mean, two of the decks I generally use the most often got hit, which is actually kind of funny. But I mean, it's not the worst thing that could possibly be happening, so that's fine. Skill rebalancing. Let's take a look into this, because this is actually kind of like where I'm really curious about too. So, rebalancing skill will be applied to the game by updating to 6.90. However, please note that the skill detail page will not be changed in that update. Reasonings for the skill rebalancing: Shooting Star Road, Demon's Resonance, and Spell of Roses. You're adjusting the character's skill, make them easier to use. Easier to use, really interesting. Alright, so the new information for the Shooting Star Road. At the beginning of the duel, place one junk converter to your graveyard. In addition, if you control Stardust Dragon, play Formula Sync onto the field from outside your deck. Then you can place 3 tuners on top of your deck from outside of your deck. You can only special summon Dragon-type Wind Synchro monsters or Warrior Synchro monsters until the end of your opponent's turn. It's going to be used once per duel if you begin with a deck that contains the following conditions below. You contain at least 8 junk or synchron monsters. Your extra deck contains at least 1 Shooting Star Dragon, at least 4 synchron, junk, or Stardust monsters. Honestly, that's kind of insane. It just makes it so much easier to bring out things like Shooting Star Dragon so much more consistently. And some of those requirements aren't even that much of a requirement. It's kind of like a guarantee. Especially like the extra deck contents, because again, you're always gonna have your Shooting Star because they made it like a free drop at some point. I mean, the junk monsters, you can always go with, like, different, like, the newer junk cards, which are decent. And of course, the starter monsters are always gonna be kind of decent too. Demon Resonance. I didn't think Resonators were much of an issue. I mean, I know they were kind of important and kind of relevant back in a few months ago, but are they still relevant? Let me know in the comment section below. Demon's Resonance. Return 1 Resonator monster from your hand to the deck, add 1 level 4 or lower Fiend type monster from your deck to your hand, and add 1 Red Rising Dragon to your extra deck from outside of your deck. During this time, you cannot use the effective cards you have added to your hand with the skill or cards with the same name. This skill can be used once per duel, once per turn and twice per duel. If you begin the duel with the deck with the following conditions as below. Your deck contains at least 8 Resonator monsters and does not contain any of the monsters other than Dragon or Fiend type monsters. Okay, I mean that's kind of restrictive, but that's fine, honestly. Hand traps really aren't that relevant in Duel Links anyways. So I'm not worried about running those or anything like that. Extra deck contains Red Dragon Fiend, a Red Nova Dragon, does not contain any monsters other than Synchro monsters. Well, God. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's kind of like a given. Interesting. And I guess it also, but I mean, that's still pretty easy to manage, The Spell of Roses. So send 1 Rose Dragon, 1 Rose Dragon monster, 1 Witch of the Black Rose, or Rose Fairy from your hand to the graveyard, then add 1 Rose Fairy monster from your deck to your hand. And you can add Rose Fairy to the top or bottom of the deck, from the deck outside of your deck. You go to special summon Synchro monsters from your extra deck. Return, you activate the skill. This skill can only be used if you begin the deck with at least an extra deck, excluding extra decks that plays a 10 tuner or Rose Dragon monsters. Interesting. Does it actually show us a copy? No, it doesn't. Okay. I'm not super familiar with the Witch of the Rose stuff, but I believe some of them do have, like, top of deck, like, manipulation. So that is kind of interesting. I mean, the one that kind of like just struck me the most is Shooting Star Road. That seems like it's pretty easy to pop off because, again, just placing 3 tuners on top of your deck from outside your deck is kind of insane. It's like it just feels up so much fodder. But again, I think the biggest shock that I kind of have is the Forbidden Limited list because, I mean, Seer, come on. But I guess it kind of had to happen at this point. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below about the Forbidden Limited list. Are you happy with the hits? Are you upset with the hits? And of course, if you're going to be changing any decks due to that or some of the recent skill changes. Again, my name is MetallicTCG. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and most of all, stay awesome. I appreciate you. Have a good one.